Welcome to the best gambling show on the internet. This is the home of the money pick. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. AFC and NFC championship over-unders to bet. Let's get this money. First game, we got the Washington no-names at the Philadelphia Eagles. Over under 47.5. I'm going under, but there isn't a lot of science to this. And both of these totals and both of these games are extremely difficult. But the reason why I'm going under, man, I do think the conditions are going to play a factor. I think this Eagles offense will have problems finding rhythm with the pass game. I also think A.J. Brown has another milk carton type day that we took advantage of the last 2 weeks in the prop video. Now, there's a lot of variance in this game. We know the Commanders' defense has struggled at times. They struggle specifically against the run. Look at Saquon Barkley's player prop. I think it's like 128 player prop. That might be the highest player prop I've ever seen. So it shows the intentions and the explosiveness that the Eagles offense possesses. But I do think you need to throw the ball, and I do think this could turn into a little bit of a slugfest, a 1990s type football game, and then you add in the bad weather. I think it could slow down both of these offenses. This isn't a money pick by any means, because when you look at both of these offenses, whether you talk about Jaden Daniels, who's playing at a much higher level than Jalen Hurts, or you talk about the Eagles offense and all the stars and studs they possess, you don't want to be betting under against both of these teams. But I'm going under. It's not a strong lean at all. The first half total I feel better about. I feel better about the 23.5. Now, if the Eagles start this game fast like they did against the Rams, listen, that it's going to go over because the Commanders will be able to answer. The Commanders will be able to put long drives together. But the reason why I like the under here, I do think the Eagles start a little bit solemnly in this game. We've seen Saquon. He breaks those big explosive runs in the second half. I'm worried about Hurts' health. I'm worried about him getting footing in the game. And we've seen the Eagles a lot of times this year start games slow. I mean, we saw the Rams do it this whole year, and then the last 2 weeks of the year against the Vikings, they were starting fast. So when you look at this, you have to just be reasonable, and you have to pick a game state you think. I think this game starts slow in terms of points, and I think it takes off in the second half. Now let's get to the team totals. Commanders, 25.5. Money. Borderline money pick because the symptoms I talked about are why it's a borderline and why you should tiptoe with a little bit of caution. But the Commanders have been covering the team total the whole year. I've been sharing them in the Discord server, and we've also gotten into these team totals during the playoffs. I think this one has success. I think the Commanders get to at least 21, 24 points in this game. And the Eagles team total is 27.5. I'm going under, but there isn't a lot of confidence here because this Commanders defense could break, especially if Saquon. Listen, when you look at that Rams game last week, one thing that contributed to Saquon's big explosive carries in the second half was firstly the Rams getting worn down. I mean, they bottled Saquon up the whole first half, but also the footing played a part. I think there's a 40-50% chance of precipitation, and if you got Saquon going downhill and you pack the box, if one guy misses a tackle, it could be daylight. It could be bye-bye 6 points for Saquon. So you always worry about that. Tiptoe with caution. I'm going under the 27.5 for the Eagles. Like I said, not a good read on the total in this game. Next game, we got the Buffalo Bills at the Kansas City Chiefs. Over under 47.5. I'm going over. But once again, not a money pick because we've seen this Chiefs offense struggle at times. And this Bills offense has been an absolute machine and a juggernaut. But this is Steve Spagnuolo in the playoffs. This is the Chiefs in Arrowhead in the playoffs. So we need to have respect and we need to have extreme caution when we look at this. But I am going over because I think the Chiefs are going to abandon the run game. And I think the Chiefs need to throw the ball. And obviously, this whole year, teams have been running the ball on the Buffalo Bills. But it's because more of their scheme. They have two safeties playing really deep, wrapping Hamlin 15, sometimes 25 yards back in shell coverage. But I think the Chiefs have given up on the run game. Pacheco's not playing great. Hunt certainly isn't what he used to be. They're getting no explosive plays from the run game. I think Mahomes is going to throw it a lot, and I think the Chiefs will have the ball more than they've had in the last 3 weeks. I mean, the Texans kind of controlled the ball the whole game. So I'm going over the 47.5, and I like the way the Bills offense matches up against the Chiefs. Like I've been saying all year, this Chiefs secondary, it's historically bad if you look at the Reeds Mahomes dynasty. And Jalen Watson coming back last week didn't really help. And the Texans were throwing it at a way higher rate, even with the Chiefs getting pressure. I like the Bills' offensive line in this matchup. So I'm going over the 47.5, but with caution. The 23.5 in the first half, I'm leaning towards under. I think these games start a little bit slower than people think. I think both teams are capable of putting up long drives that kill clock, that kill opportunities. I'm going under in the first half, 23.5. Like I said, not a good read, and a lot of Chiefs games have been going under this year. It's interesting, man. When we used to pick the Chiefs, we used to do the phrase we use with the Lions. When you say Lions, when you say Chiefs, I say over. But this year with the Chiefs, normally the over-unders are between 41 and 43.5. Like, they're really low. This is high for a Chiefs game in 2025, but I'm going over the 47.5. Under the 23.5 for the first half. Now let's get to the team totals. Bills team total. Over 23.5. Money. I think the Bills get to at least 24. I think they do. I think they find a way to get to at least 24. And this offense, like I said, has been a machine this whole year. And I think Josh Allen's going to run the ball a lot. And I think that's going to create big plays. I also think this Chiefs secondary matchup isn't the best. I know the Bills wide receivers, there's no elite stud. Amari Cooper never came to fruition. But you still have periphery pieces like Shakir, Keon Coleman, Dawson Knox, who can do some damage against the Chiefs. And if the Chiefs are sending blitz after blitz, that's dangerous, man, because Josh Allen can get out of the pocket. And also this Bills offensive line is actually competent, unlike the Houston Texans. The Chiefs are 24.5. I'm going under. Like, when I look at this game, I see a 27-24 type score. So, obviously, you don't want to go too crazy betting these team totals. But 27-24 is my final score. I think that equals an over of 51. And you should say, Lawson, like, you're over by 5 points or 4.5 points. You should be betting it. No, man. If you've learned anything during these playoffs, there's variance. The reason why we've been so good on over-unders this year is because it's been simple because we have a list of 13 to 16 games and we find mistakes. Vegas isn't making mistakes at this point. Bet knowing it's a risk, bet knowing that Vegas is 100% correct on all of these totals. But I think we have the 20.5 borderline money pick team total with the Commanders and an over for the 23.5 in the Bills game. And I also think there's a possibility that this Chiefs-Bills game can turn into a shootout. And I normally wouldn't say that in a playoff atmosphere in Arrowhead. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. The best gambling show on the internet.